Well, today in a Fox Carolina investigation, we're looking into what it takes to keep our food safe in South Carolina and what extra measures some farmers are going through so their distributors and the public knows the food that comes from them meets high standards. Now, there are already federal standards in place that are mandatory, put in place under the Food Safety Modernization Act, which was signed into law by President Obama in 2011. But there's also another voluntary program that more South Carolina farmers are taking part in, and it goes above and beyond what's required so that our food is safe from seed to plate. On most days, you can find Jim Alexander in his field in Pauline.
But the okra looks good.
He recently retired, but decided to take up a new full-time job as a farmer.
I love it. I absolutely love to see things grow. I like to be able to do something that I know that's going to be beneficial to someone else.
Jim grows a little bit of everything, including okra, cabbage, squash, and peppers. And while he doesn't run a big operation, he says he takes food safety seriously.
I'm glad that I'm taking the precautions to keep the people that I sell my stuff to so that it won't happen to them.
Jim is also GAP certified, which stands for Good Agricultural Practices. It's a voluntary program run by the USDA that checks to make sure the food he grows is handled and stored safely to reduce contamination. It involves a yearly audit, paperwork, and day-to-day precautions.
Pick it in the field, put it in these buckets, wrap the bucket up, put the bucket in the wagon. The wagon gets full, we bring it out, bring it to this table. They approve this because it's plastic, it's cleanable, washable. All the tools are cleaned with a Clorox mix. Okay? And I have a dip tank here that I mix a mixture of Clorox in for the things like watermelons, cantaloupes.
Then it's loaded into wax-coated cartons, labels are applied, and it's hauled off to Jim's distributor, who then sells to upstate schools and hospitals, which require that their foods come from a GAP-certified farmer.
It's not about how pretty your field is or how great your vegetables are. They don't care about that. Their concern is how the product is handled from the time it leaves the plant to the time it makes it to the plates of our school children.
Andy Rollins is a county extension agent with Clemson and has helped guide Jim in his new career. He tells us food safety is priority #1 for the farmers he knows.
In general, these are an extremely kind and caring group of people that really do want to do right by the people that they're serving.
Andy also points out consumers can do their part as well when it comes to food safety at home.
The #1 place for contamination for food safety issues is your own hands and where your own hands have been. Wash all of your produce, even when you know where it's come from and everything else. It's always good.
So how do you know who is GAP certified? Well, the State Department of Agriculture tells us the easiest way is to go online, and then you can see who has passed the inspections. We'll have a link to that on foxcarolina.com. But they point out even if a farm is not GAP certified, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not doing things correctly or safely. It just means that they haven't gone through that process or the paperwork. However, they say more farmers are getting that GAP certification because that does open the door to more opportunities to sell in places like schools and hospitals and even prisons who will only buy those GAP foods.